Hello and welcome to my video for chemistry about DNA and RNA. Without further ado, let's get started. So what is DNA? DNA, also known as deoxyribonucleic acid, is a molecule that carries genetic information for the growth and development for all known living organisms, while also being the basis for viruses. Nearly every single DNA strand in your body is identical to one another. You could think of what DNA is it's a code, and the code is the same four chemical bases: adenine, guanine, cytosine, and thymine. I probably butchered those. I'm sorry in advance. It is found in the cell nucleus and sometimes in the mitochondria. It is vulnerable to damage by ultraviolet light. What is RNA? RNA differs from DNA as it only has one strand in its structure rather than two, although some can have two, but that's an entirely different subject in and of itself. It is also found in all living organisms, acting as somewhat of a bridge between DNA and protein production. It is almost the same basis as DNA, however, it switches thymine with uracil. Without RNA, DNA cannot act in the way it does. RNA is found in the nucleus, cytoplasm, and ribosomes. It is also more resistant to ultraviolet light than DNA. What are they made of? DNA and RNA are nucleic acids formed by chains called nucleotides. Each nucleotide consists of 5 carbon sugar, a phosphate group, and a nitrogenous base. DNA uses deoxyribose sugar, which is 5 carbons, 10 hydrogens, and 4 oxygens, while RNA uses ribose sugar, which is 5 carbons, 10 hydrogens, and 5 oxygen. Types of RNA and DNA. There is not only one type of RNA/DNA. Take for instance RNA, which has mRNA, which means messenger RNA. They carry instructions from the genes in the nucleus about the protein which needs to be synthesized. It also has rRNA, which stands for ribosomal RNA, which is the most common type of RNA. Last but not least is tRNA, which is transfer RNA. This has a very unique shape to it as it carries amino acids to get made into protein. Now for DNA, which also has 3 main types. There are many more, but we would be here all day going through them. That being said, the 3 main types that we're going to be going over today are called the A, B, and Z forms. The A form is a rare right-handed double helix, mainly found in dehydrated conditions. Next is the more common B form. Again, it is a right-handed double helix, however, being more tall and thin compared to A form. Last is the Z form. A left-handed double helix is also represented in a zigzaggy manner rather than a swirl staircase kind of looking manner. Fun fact, zDNA is thought to be linked to Alzheimer's, and some even suggest that it is necessary for the disease to live, and without it, there would be no Alzheimer's. Now, protein. This part is more pointed towards RNA in specific. Messenger RNA provides the ribosome with the blueprints for building proteins, which are amino acids. Each amino acid makes its way to the ribosome by transfer RNA. Then the ribosome uses the information in mRNA to connect the tRNA amino acids to the correct order of each type of protein in the cell. DNA replication. DNA replication is the process by which genome DNA is copied in cells. Before it divides, it must make a copy of its entire genome so that each star cell ends up with its own genome. This is possibly the shortest I can make this answer, and my head completely exploded trying to figure out and understand how it all tied into one another. Genetically modified/mutations, also called genetic engineering because modified sounds very worse, is the modification of genetic material, including genes. You may have heard this before in GMOs, genetically modified organisms. This technology is used for a variety of different purposes, such as genetically modifying crops to make them more resistant to pests, higher yields, and fewer pesticides. However, as it is very new and could have some unforeseen downsides, we can't be sure if it's good for us as a species. Moreover, it has seen some success elsewhere in pharmaceuticals. This can be seen in vaccines. For example, the COVID vaccines were all excuse me, they were all genetically modified. They were which are easily injected into the recipient, and the nucleic acids are then absorbed by the cells, making them more resistant to the viruses. Other types include gene therapy, which is relatively new treatment being introduced. This treatment couples a stem cell with rRNA to be extracted from the patient, modified for the desired gene, then inserted back into the patient, and since the stem cell has been altered, it can then repair the body. That is in theory, however. And last but not least is cancer. Genes play a huge role in cancer, being a very important reason for its very existence. When a gene mutates, it can cause it to make the cell stop working properly. This can affect a variety of different things. However, other cells can often find these mutations and fix them. But when they can't, the gene multiplies, causing a cancerous infection. Cancer can also be hereditary, meaning the genetic mutation was passed down from parent to child or grandparent to parent to child. And some can be carriers but not actually develop any signs of it. It's a long loophole, rabbit hole, I mean. There's no one-stop cure for cancer. However, there are many treatments to prevent it, or prevent or slow down its replication, such as chemotherapy, which uses powerful drugs to kill fast-growing cancer cells in your body. And yes, it does include your hair, because your hair grows fast. That's all I had for my research. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching.